Hi, I'm Chris Wright, President of Wright Wealth Management Group. Over the last few months, I've received several questions concerning required minimum distributions on IRA accounts and other qualified investment plans as an individual reaches that magic age of 70 and a half. In regards to required minimum distributions, we know that in the year in which we turn 70 and 1/2 years of age, the IRS requires us to start taking a mandatory distribution. In actuality, during that first year, because many people often forget to take the required minimum distribution, the IRS allows individuals in about a 90-day grace period into the following year by April 1st of the following year in which they turned the age of 70 and a half to start and begin that first required minimum distribution. However, I don't encourage people to wait and delay and take advantage of that 90-day grace period to take the first distribution, because if somebody does that, in reality what's happening is that investor will have to take 2 distributions during that calendar year. And of course, we don't want to have to pay more tax in one given year just simply because we delayed taking that first year's distribution. Remember that all distributions that we take out of our qualified plans and IRA accounts are reportable as ordinary income on our tax returns. I always recommend investors to take their required minimum distribution during the month of November each year. Why the month of November? No particular reason at all, other than I'm consistent with all of those investors that I visit with on the month that they need to take their distribution. The reason why that's so important is we know that if we do not take a required minimum distribution in the year in which we're supposed to, the IRS can impose a 50% excise tax penalty on the amount that we were supposed to take out. Think about that for a minute. If you're 59 years of age or under and you want to take a distribution from your IRA, you can do so, but you may incur a 10% penalty. Speed that up to age 70 and a half when you're supposed to take a required minimum distribution and you fail to do so, that penalty jumps to 50%. So it's very important as an investor with IRA money, qualified money such as 403Bs, 457 plans, 401Ks, all that money is considered qualified money, meaning you received a qualifying tax deduction for putting money into that account. Therefore, once you reach that magic age of 70 and a half, the IRS wants you to begin taking those distributions so they can start collecting tax, or at least have you report that on your tax return and when you file your taxes to determine if that distribution is taxable or not. I've noticed over the last several years that as investors get closer to that magic age of 70 and a half, they start to have a lot of questions concerning required minimum distributions and how that distribution is calculated. The first thing that we have to remember with the IRA balances that are used for the calculation is that the IRS requires us to use the previous year's December 31st value as the value that will be applied to the distribution code. If somebody has $500,000 on December 31st of 2015, however, they wait until November of 2016 to take their distribution, and let's say maybe they lost a little bit of money in the stock market, so their $500,000 value from December 31st of 2015 is now $400,000 in November of 2016. The IRS still requires the required minimum distribution to be based upon the previous year's December 31st, 2015 balance as the balance that is used for the required minimum distribution. Even though the investor lost $100,000 between December 31st, 2015 and November of 2016, the IRS does not say that they can use that new lower balance. It's always based upon the previous year's balance. Thank you for joining me as we've discussed required minimum distributions and all the potential strategies or pitfalls that have to be considered for those investors that have IRA investments. I'm Chris Wright, President of Wright Wealth Management, and thanks for taking part of your day to listen to our program.